YouTube, JoJo3102 here, and I have another video for you today. And what this is going to be is my contest, my video response into Gavkoo's giveaway for knife rights. And he is holding a contest where you are to make a video response and talk about knife rights. The organization, knife rights, your feel about knife rights, where you stand, and the such. Okay, so that's what this is. You must be a subscriber. Check. You must be 18 and have parents' permission. Check. And it's open worldwide. Check. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. I'm gonna try and make this short, to the point. I went over and checked out Knife Rights site. It's very informative, very well put together. They give you a lot of information on other states, what they're doing, things that are the government's trying to push through and get done, so that, you know, these things like this aren't able to be used or more regulated, and this, that, and the other. I know, and sorry, it's kind of early in the morning here. But you know, I think it's good that there are websites out there like Knife Rights and people like Gavkoo who are pushing for us as a community, us as knife collectors, as knife users, to come together and say, these are tools. These are what we use on a daily basis. Okay? They're not intended for harming people. They're not intended to, you know, for killing. These are tools that we use in our daily lives to help make things easier. And as Gavkoo said in his video, these things have been around since the dawn of man. You know, from the first stick or bone cut into a point and used to cut whatever it was they needed to cut. That's the tool that they used. And that's what these are. You know, and for me, it's kind of, you know, people always, just like everybody here, always have a knife. Whether it's going to the grocery store or going to work or going out at night, I usually always have a knife. Sometimes I use one for protection. Sometimes I use one it's just there, you know. It's part of what I carry. And it's not because I feel like I'm a badass or because I feel like I need to protect myself. For the most part, it's more because I've been in a number of situations where I've needed to open a box on a bar. You know, they've had the different, like, as weird as it is, like box wines have little knobs that you need to cut into. Packages that they get to open up for the bar, whether it's be a case of soda, a case of the beer coolers, or case of beer that they need to, whatever it is. Sometimes, you know, I've had a lot of people just walk, hey man, you got a knife? You need to cut something. Yeah, sure, here you go, bam, there it is. And they cut it, they hand it back, and it's done. But a lot of people would say that, you know, having this would be considered, you know, I'm brandishing a weapon. No, I'm using a tool, handing a tool to someone else so that they can use it. You know, and a lot of people talk about knife lengths, and, you know, whether a 4-inch blade versus a 2-inch blade, and the use and what's the that. But what's the difference between having this 4-inch blade here, 4 1/4-inch blade, versus a blade like this, you know, partially serrated, partially plain, versus a fully serrated blade, or even this small plain edge blade like that? Okay, in what you're going to cut with. You know, I've handed this knife to a guy who needed to cut a hole in his cigar. He didn't have a cigar cutter. He asked me if I had a knife, popped it out, handed it to him. He cut the end of his cigar off, handed it back to me, job done, no big deal, you know. He didn't freak out about it. And he was just a plainclothes guy. I mean, he was the kind of guy that, You know, if he carried a knife, would probably carry something like this for what he had on. You know, he had a suit on, a pair of slacks, you know. He would have carried something like that. But I handed him this, and he didn't freak out about it. I've handed people this knife and had people look at it and say, oh my God, don't cut yourself. Well, I'm not going to cut myself. I know how to hold it. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm using it for. So yeah, I think that we need to stay on top of what rights us as knife owners, knife users, knife collectors are being told. You know, if the government had it their way, they'd take all these and make them illegal. You know, in my town, I live in Maryland, and if you're familiar with Maryland, Maryland's split in two by the Chesapeake, and I live on the eastern side of Maryland, so the eastern shore side. And really, in all honesty, on the eastern shore side, you'd be hard pressed to find a guy, and I say a guy, who doesn't have a knife on him. You know, you can walk up and down the street, look at someone's pocket, and you'll see a knife, you know, clip hanging out of it. A lot of watermen, a lot of fishermen, a lot of hunters, farmers, landscapers that live over here on the shore. Caretakers, you know, handymen, all kinds of different people who all have a use for this tool. They carry them. We have them over here, and that's not to say that anyone else doesn't. But like I said, I am speaking just from where I live and my experience here. You know, a lot of girls I know have small little knives like this on their keys or in their purse. You know, I know a lot of women who carry, you know, delicas and things like that. Just, you know, because that's what they do. That's how they were brought up. So yeah, so go over to Knife Rights, check them out. Give them a shout. You know, like I said, you don't have to necessarily join, but go check out what they're talking about over there. Go see what's going on. You know, let's keep these in our pockets, in our hands, and let's not let people take these away from us like they're trying to take guns and all the other rights and freedoms that we have. All right, folks. So I hope that helps. I hope that works. And as always, YouTube, thank you and peace. Knucklebone.